The first thing everyone remembers is the sound. Silk tearing doesn't scream its size. Low, ugly final. 1 second, I was smiling for photos at a charity gala 7 months pregnant, trying to ignore the way my feet ached in heels I should have taken off an hour earlier. The next second, cold air hit my back and 200 people went dead quiet. That was the moment my life split in half. Before and after. I didn't even turn around at first. I just froze. You know that feeling when your brain refuses to accept what your body already knows. I felt hands yank fabric, felt it give way, and all I could think was, no, this can't be happening, not here. Not tonight. Then I heard her laugh. Bright, confident, almost cheerful, and she said loud enough for the entire ballroom. Now everyone can see who he really belongs to. When I turned, she was standing there holding a piece of my dress like a souvenir. Tall, flawless, dressed in black silk red lipstick sharp enough to cut glass. She smiled straight at me and said, "Relax. I'm doing you a favor. I'm pregnant too, with his baby, the real one." Yeah, that part landed exactly how you think it did. I remember scanning the room for my husband Daniel. 7 years together. A miscarriage, then this miracle pregnancy we'd fought so hard for. I found him by the bar, drink in hand, staring at us like he'd wandered into the wrong movie. For 1 stupid second, I thought he'd step in. Say something. Do something. Instead, he looked away, set his glass down, and walked out through the side doors like this was none of his business. That was the moment something inside me cracked. Not loud, not dramatic. Just a quiet internal snap, like a thread finally giving up. The woman, her name was Lila, I later learned, started talking again. She liked the silence. Loved it, actually. She talked about how I was living a lie, how I'd stolen her life, how everyone deserved to know the truth. People I knew were staring. Donors, clients, friends, the priest who married us, even my OBGYN. All of them watching me stand there exposed, shaking one hand instinctively covering my belly. My mom was the first to move. She wrapped her shawl around my shoulders, pulled me close, and whispered, "Don't let her see you break." My mom spent 20 years as a public defender. She's seen monsters up close. Her voice didn't shake. Mine did. Then my father spoke. Security. Not loud, not angry, just calm, heavy, impossible to ignore. The kind of voice that makes rooms listen. He stepped forward, straight-backed silver hair, neat eyes locked on Lila like she was already on trial. She laughed at him, asked if Daddy was here to rescue me. Called me pathetic for hiding behind my parents. He didn't blink. He said, "You just assaulted a pregnant woman in front of over 100 witnesses. That's a felony." The smile on her face wavered just for a second. He kept going. Listed charges like he was reciting facts, not threats. Assault, emotional distress, endangerment. When he pulled out his phone and called the police right there, reality finally started creeping in. When he said, "That woman is my daughter," her confidence collapsed. She turned to Daniel then, begged him, screamed his name, said they had a plan, that he promised. Every head in the room swung toward the doors just in time to see them close behind him. He didn't look back. An ambulance took me to the hospital as a precaution. My daughter's heartbeat was strong. I watched it flicker on the screen and cried for the first time that night. Not because of the dress, not because of the crowd, but because the man I trusted most in the world had chosen silence. 3 days later, I opened his email. I didn't go looking for betrayal. I went looking for answers. What I found was 18 months of lies. Hotel bookings, love notes disguised as work messages, plans, and then the bank statements, accounts I'd never seen. Money siphoned away slowly, deliberately, almost $1 million hidden offshore. An exit strategy. There was one email I still can't forget. He wrote that the baby wasn't his problem anymore. Said I'd be fine because my parents had money. Said we'd never find him. That's when grief turned into something else. Something colder. Something steadier. Friends started coming forward. A former business partner handed over records. A woman from the Gala committee showed me emails Lila had sent her threatening her job months before the event. Even Daniel's mother called me crying, saying he'd taken money from her retirement too. Federal investigators got involved. Suddenly, this wasn't just a broken marriage. It was fraud. Serious fraud. Daniel didn't take that well. He leaked stories. Talked about my therapy, my miscarriage, my anxiety years earlier. Tried to paint me as unstable, emotional, unreliable. The crazy pregnant wife. Some people bought it. That hurt. But here's the thing nobody tells you. When you've already lost everything, reputation doesn't scare you the same way anymore. The trial came faster than I expected. Cameras everywhere. Lila showed up in pale dresses, hair pulled back, crying for the jury. Daniel sat beside her, arm around her shoulders, playing the supportive partner. When our eyes met, he smiled. A small one. Like he thought he was winning. He wasn't. The video from the Gala destroyed their case. Witness after witness. Medical records, financial trails. The jury didn't take long. Guilty. On all counts. Lila was sentenced to prison. Daniel's case went federal. Wire fraud. Tax evasion. Conspiracy. 7 years. I felt nothing when I heard the sentence. No joy, no revenge, just relief. Like a weight finally lifted off my chest. 3 days after the verdict, my daughter decided she was ready. Labor was long and messy and nothing like the classes promised. My mom held my hand. My best friend brought bad coffee and worse jokes. When they placed my daughter on my chest, screaming perfect alive, I laughed through tears and named her Clara. Because clarity is what she gave me. Clarity about who I was and who I wasn't willing to be anymore. My life didn't go back to normal. It got smaller, quieter, real. My business grew because I stopped shrinking myself to keep someone else comfortable. My circle tightened. The noise faded. Sometimes I think about that night. About Lila holding my dress like she'd won something. About Daniel walking away. And I realize now, people who try to humiliate you in public usually underestimate how much power they're handing you. So here's my question for you. If you were standing where I stood, would you have stayed silent to keep the peace? Or would you have burned it all down to rebuild something true? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them. And if you've ever been underestimated, dismissed, or blamed for someone else's choices, share this story. Because survival isn't quiet. And justice doesn't always look the way people expect.